Good afternoon, and welcome to our Introduction 2020 Intra-Session series. We're in week 6 today, and we're featuring programs in the EMU. The EMU is the Urban Memorial Union, our student union, which is home to student government and student-centered programs, clubs, and organizations, services, and events. It's a gathering place for ducks. This session is focused on the Holden Center for Leadership and Community Engagement. If you're watching in Zoom, please use the Q&A feature at the bottom of your Zoom screen to ask our presenter your questions. We will use the last segment of this program to answer your questions live on camera. At this time, I'm excited to introduce you to Hannah White, Coordinator of Leadership and Community Engagement in the Holden Center, and she's going to highlight all of the tremendous programs and services they offer to students, faculty, and staff at the University of Oregon. I think it's also important to note that today is Hannah's birthday, so make sure that you use that Zoom screen, that Zoom Q&A feature, to wish Hannah a happy birthday today. Welcome, Hannah.
Thanks, Cora. Hi, everyone.
It's all yours.
So as Cora said, I'm Hannah White. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm one of the coordinators at the Holden Center for Leadership and Community Engagement. I have been here for a little over a year and a half, and I'm really excited to be here with you all today. So I'm going to spend some time telling you about who we are, what we believe, and why you should come hang out with us at the Holden Center. So in terms of humans, we have 15 student staff members who, I'm not biased at all, but they're just the most compassionate and just kind and wonderful, hardworking humans that we could have, and so we absolutely love them. And there are 3 of our professional staff members. We really believe that the Holden Center should and is a place for everyone on campus, and we believe that every single one of you is a leader and is capable of leadership. It's already within you, and we just are here to help you figure out how to hone it and how to make sure that you can use it in the best way that you can. We really believe that leadership's not about titles or who's the loudest one in the room or who has the most to say. It's about the genuine care that you have for the people around you, that you're working towards a shared mission or a shared goal, and that you're really passionate together, and that you're doing all of that in a really inclusive and as just a way as possible. So we also really believe that community engagement is deeply intertwined with leadership, whether it be local, national, global, wherever it is that you are serving a community, that is intertwined with how you lead as well. So the learning and growth that happens within our service teams or in a workshop or just in our space in the EMU, we believe that that contributes to how you are an active and engaged citizen and human in the world, in our local Eugene and Springfield community, and that also really tells us who you're going to be when you leave UO. So when campus isn't closed, we have a really amazing space in the EMU. It's full of windows and lots of light, and folks just kind of come and hang out and have good conversation, and we'll have discussion groups, and there's always something going on, and so it's always a space that is open to anybody on campus. So generally, I would really love to do a bunch of activities and get to know who you are and learn more about you. But because we are in this setting, I'm just going to kind of be talking at you. So hopefully it won't be too much information, but I'll just give you a little bit of a taste about the Holden Center. And then we also do have a quick activity for the end. So I hope that you'll all join me in doing that. So currently we have 11 programs, and so these are on the screen are our leadership programs. So I'm going to be going over all 11 programs today that we run throughout the year, and I'll highlight our more popular ones, and I'll also include some student testimonials that we have so you all can hear a little bit about what your peers are talking about with our programs as well. And then towards the end of each program, I'll also tell you a little bit about what we're doing to make sure that you are staying healthy and safe, and how we're making programs remote and virtual and still making sure that there's a space for you to engage with us and with your peers. And then I'll give a little bit of information about the rest of them. So I'm not going to tell you fully in-depth information about all 11 because we'd be here for a while. But so within those 11 programs, and I'll kind of show you those are our community engagement programs as well. So within those 11, we also have quite a few leadership opportunities for folks to participate, and then they can kind of level up, if you will. And so these are really designed for students to be able to learn and grow with us their entire time while they're at U of O. So let's get started. So our first program that I'm going to talk about is our Clifton Strengths consultation program. So the Clifton Strengths program first determines a student's top 5 strengths, and then we are here to help you identify ways that you can focus on how they play into your leadership style or your career path or even just you as a student. And so we kind of help explain more what they mean. So Clifton Strengths is based on positive psychology, and so it's really about focusing on what you're already good at, and who doesn't want to do that? So that is one of the ways that we practice our strengths-based leadership at the Holden Center. We offer this program in a one-on-one individual format as well as a group format. And so the one-on-one, you'll take the assessment before you get there, and then you'll meet with one of the student staff members that I mentioned previously, and they'll kind of go through all of those strengths with you. And then with the group ones, same thing. It tells you a little bit more about how you can work within a group. So whether it's a student organization that you belong to or a student staff team that you're on campus, we can talk more about how you can apply those strengths for yourself, as well as understanding the strengths of others in your group to help amplify and reach your goal in a more healthy and efficient way. So one of our student staff members, Allie, who's actually on the Q&A today, as a Clifton Strengths consultant, I love seeing a student's face light up when they see their strengths and the role that strengths play in their life. So currently, our strengths consultants, like Allie, are holding this program virtually over Zoom. And so this is actually something that you can go on our website and fill out the request form. And you can do this over the summer while you're still at home or wherever else you may be. And that's something that will continue throughout the year as well, obviously. Our next program is the UO Leadership Summit. So the summit is a day that's really designed to help students unleash their natural potential as a leader. And so students come together for a really authentic connection and exploration through a series of discussions, workshops, and presentations that we hope really leaves you feeling empowered and ready to go tackle that thing that you feel really passionate about. This completely free summit is really, the purpose is to help you engage in positive change within your community. So this past year, our theme was challenging the status quo, and within it, we had 3 different tracks. So we had redefining leadership, sustainable leadership, and inclusive leadership. And so each of our sessions and workshops fell within one of those 3 tracks. So one of our student attendees said, "Had wonderful presenters, empowering work, inspiring me to not sit in silence, but to challenge myself and others to address issues. It made me feel like I really belong in this country," which is one of my favorite testimonials we have ever received. I think that speaks really volumes to this program. So the summit is generally held in the winter term at UO. So we are planning for both remote and in-person versions right now and just kind of waiting to see what our world will look like then, but we are still planning to hold this event. Our next leadership program is our workshop series. So this series is a little over a year old and has grown absolutely tremendously in the year that we've had it live. So we currently have about 15 different workshops that we offer, and most often the curriculum is actually created by our student staff members. And so we really feel like we have a good pulse on what students are needing from this workshop series, whether it's within a student organization or just personally. Some of those workshops are discovering your leadership style, exploring personal values, imposter syndrome, intersection of identity and leadership, leading your peers, queer leadership, and radical empowerment. And so I know that most of you, especially for those of you who have never even set foot on campus before, probably don't belong to a student organization where you could request one of these workshops. And so we totally hear that, especially in this remote world that we're living in. And so this past summer, our students who have stayed on staff over the summer have started the leadership coaching series. And so they've taken all of the workshops that we have listed on our website and converted them to be in a one-on-one format. And so you can set up a Zoom call or a Teams call, whichever is better for you, and they can go through the curriculum with you that way. And so we're still able to engage you that way. And like I said, the full list can be found on our website. And if there's not something that you're seeing that speaks to you, or if there's something that you really feel like is missing, please let us know. We're actively creating curriculum all the time. And like I said, our student staff are always creating curriculum as well and would love to work with you on how to do that. So some of the students who have taken part in the workshop series have said, I learned that you can be a leader no matter who you are and where you come from, which is totally true. And then another student said, I learned more about how to express my sexuality and be proud while using it to help lead myself and others. This was really helpful because I want to be an LGBTQ plus civil rights activist. And like I said, during the pandemic, we are facilitating these workshops via Zoom. So again, similar to the strengths program, just request it online. Same with the coaching sessions, the one-on-one coaching sessions. And we will continue to offer these throughout the summer. So it's something that's available to you right now. And of course, we will continue them over the academic year. I'm going to shift a little bit to our community engagement programs. Our leadership and community engagement, as I said before, are deeply intertwined, but these are definitely more of the service opportunities for folks that are looking for that. So first up is our Days of Service. So this is one of our larger scale programs. So once a term, students register for a project and they are ready to engage in education around related social issues, and then they serve a variety of partners within the Eugene and Springfield area. And so we come together in the morning, we talk about which partners we're going to be serving that day, why it's important. We split up into teams, and then we're able to provide the transportation to those projects. And so folks will volunteer for a couple hours together, and then we'll come back together at the end of the day, generally share a meal, and then we'll do some reflection on that and talk about how we can make sure that this service is sustainable, and how we can continue engaging in the community in that way. This program is really a great entry point, I think, for folks who are trying to figure out how they want to get involved, because we have a lot of first-time Holden Center folks who come through this program, and it's also a good stepping stone to the next program that I'm going to talk about in just a second. One of our students actually said, so I've gained so much more gratitude, compassion, and empathy through the volunteer work, and I have also met a multitude of other fellow college students that I would never have talked to or gotten to know if it weren't for the various opportunities that the Holden Center offers. And this student, actually, Hallie Velichenko, was a transfer student this past year, and she jumped into all of our programs, and she's actually now, she did Duck Corps this past term, and so she just kind of really went with it. And so for this upcoming year's Days of Service, so on the screen you see we have our Fall Day of Service. So we're actually scheduled for October 10th. And while we are remote, we're planning for a virtual engagement. So we're still planning to do something to be in community and to learn together. It's just going to look a little bit different. And so this year, being an election year, we are actually focusing on what it means to be an engaged citizen, to vote and to write to a legislator, and how you do that and how you figure out what you want to talk to with a legislator. So please stay tuned for that if you'd like to be involved in that. So that's going to be October 10th this year, pretty soon after school gets started, so you can jump right in. And then our other 2 days of service, so we do one a term, and so the second one is winter term, and it's MLK Day of Service, so celebrating Martin Luther King Jr., and this one is generally focused on racial justice and focusing really on the social issues around racial justice. Our last one is Earth Day of Service, and it's generally in mid-April on either Saturday around Earth Day. And so this one, as I'm sure you all could probably imagine, is focused on environmental issues and all the intersections there as well. Let's see. So for our next program that I kind of already alluded to is our Duck Corps program. So this program has also really grown a lot and has really become a space that people come to build community. So folks will join a team at the beginning of the term, And students participate weekly in a hands-on service project. And so it's all 10 weeks for the entirety of a term. So it's a bigger commitment for sure, but it really gets at that more sustainable service that we're talking about. Students are really able to get connected within their team, and also are able to gain a better understanding of what the community partners exist for and how they can be helpful to them. So we have 5 different social issues that our teams generally fall under, though they often intersect. But so the 5 are poverty alleviation, education, human rights, public health, and sustainability. So we're always trying to find new projects under there, always expanding our community partnerships. And if you even have an idea, we're always open to that, to reaching out to a new community partner to create those opportunities for you all. Generally, we do provide each team with transportation as well as a member orientation at the beginning of the term, so you know what you're getting yourself into. And then we also come together at the end of the term, all the teams together, for a celebration of all of the hard work and dedication that you've had to our local community at the end of the term. And often students return term after term each year, and so it's definitely something that you can do repeatedly, and most students do. So Days of Service and Duck Corps, those 2 programs I just talked about, are one of those really great level up leadership opportunities that we have. So each team has a team lead. So that's someone who makes sure that everyone is there and ready to go, who also facilitates the reflection at the end of each of the service projects. And so a lot of folks who have been on a Duck Corps team for a year, sometimes the next year they'll come back and be a team lead. And so it's a really great opportunity for them to keep growing as well. So one of our team leads from this past year, Alan, he said, "I was a very engaged volunteer in my community while in high school, and I wanted to continue that in college, but wasn't sure exactly how I could integrate volunteering into university life. The Holden Center was perfect for me. They provided me opportunities to not only get involved, but to learn about issues facing the community and how to challenge my skills as a leader in order to improve my ability to help. I'll forever be grateful to the Holden Center for their help in turning me from just a volunteer into an active citizen." And that is what we like to hear. So currently this program for the fall is a little bit in flux. We still have some community partners who really are still needing help, and so we're trying to get really creative about how we can still be running teams while also making sure that it's keeping you as well as the community partners safe. So we're hoping to run it on a bit of a smaller scale because there are some projects that are a bit closer to campus or don't have as much human interaction. So please make sure that you pay attention to our website for updates about the Duck Corps program. And then the last program that I'm going to focus on for today with the more information is our service grant program. So this really gives students the opportunity to receive money for a project that benefits the community. So students can identify a need in the community and a community partner, and they can come up with a specific project to help that community partner. And so they'll write a proposal, and then we're able to award them up to $1,000 to help them fund that project. So this is one of my favorite programs that we have because it's so varied in the things that folks come up with. And so I get to oversee this program, and so the students you all have so many ideas and just go so many places with it. So on the screen you see there's at the top, that top picture is folks that created care bags during the winter for folks experiencing houselessness. And so they delivered them to Eugene Mission and really got to interact with the folks that use the services at the Eugene Mission. And they absolutely loved it. And then in that bottom one, those are actually high school students who are retrofitting robot cars to for children who have mobility challenges to be able to still use some of those robot little cars that folks drive around. And so very, very different projects, and they really vary from there. And so it's really open to you and what your idea and what your passion is. And we're just really eager to help you fund it. And that's really generally the biggest roadblock for folks. So we're happy to help remove that barrier. We are still operating this program remotely. We've actually been able to relax some of the guidelines a bit, which is great. And so we know that folks are not in Eugene and Springfield. They're all over the country. And so we've been able to relax the guidelines to whatever is local for you right now. You can do a project with a service grant there. So you can apply on our website. We have a rolling deadline, so you can apply today if you want. But so whatever your project might be, or if you want to connect about it beforehand, we are happy to talk about it. But please look into that if that is something that sounds like it could be helpful for you. And like I said, I'm not going to talk about all of our programs in depth, but I'll give you just a peek at the remaining ones that we have. So the Leadership Institute is a 4-day off-campus immersive experience. It really focuses on leading with integrity and identifying your passions and how to make those passions really come alive in the world. So due to COVID, we have decided to cancel this version of Leadership because we generally go off campus to a camp where we're in cabins together. So we're in really close proximity, and it just is not feasible right now. But so we are looking at other programs that Leadership offers to be able to engage you all in those. And this is something that we do every year, and you don't have to be a specific year within your UO career to engage in it. So please make sure to look out for it next year. That second one, leadership advising professional staff. So any student can come in and chat. It's very similar to office hours with a faculty member. We are happy to talk to you about pretty much anything. So we've had students who come in who just have no idea where to get started. They maybe were really involved in high school, maybe like some of you, and Eugene is a new place, and they just don't know how to get started. And so we are happy to connect you with ways to do that. We also have other folks who come in who are maybe presidents of their organizations, and their members are not listening to them, or they just can't get on the same page. And so we're also really happy to help with things like that as well. And so that is, for this year, something that we are going to be doing virtually, like probably just Zoom office hours type of situation, but still running that as well. That third one on the screen, Leadership Lounge. So this is a more relaxed discussion-based setting. So we generally hold these within the Holden Center, and we are working on ways to bring these to you all, not in our space. So each week we have different topics, and folks just kind of drop in on what sounds interesting to them. And then you can connect with folks that you maybe haven't met before. And so for this upcoming year, we are hoping to create a virtual drop-in space that students can use. So really, I think that will be pretty much a similar space. And so we have over 20 topics that we use, and so we'll continue to use those, and those are all listed on our website and will be updated with the schedule for this upcoming year as soon as we have it. And then the last one on there is our post-grad engagement program. So this looks a little bit different. So we really host informational sessions and mixers that help students determine what their engagement might look like after they graduate. So here at the U of O, as with most any college, there is just an abundance of opportunities and ways to get involved on campus and off campus in the local community. And sometimes when students leave and move across the country or just a different city, or just are not students anymore, it's really difficult to figure out what that looks like. And so we have started this program to share with folks that there are other opportunities after graduation. So whether that be a service year with AmeriCorps or City Year or Teacher America, we provide more information about those programs. But we also have a workshop that is coming soon to talk about what it means to build community in a new city, and what that might look like for you. So that is probably feeling very far off for you all right now, but it's definitely something that you can look forward to. So I think I have talked at you enough. So we are going to move on to our activity. So I really hope that you all can join in with me. And I'd really love for parents and families who are watching to participate as well. So we're going to do a virtual version of one of the activities that we use in our Discover Your Leadership style workshop. So before we begin, I want you to think of yourself in one specific context. So either yourself as a student at school or at work or with your friends or family. So think of one specific context. And then I want you also, you'll probably need something to write with. So you can either do it on your phone if that feels good for you, or if you have a pen and paper with you, whatever's easiest for you. So once you have that pen and paper and you have that context in your mind, you'll need to divide your paper into 4 quadrants like what is on the screen. So just across on your paper. And then I'm going to take you through a couple different scenarios, and then you'll mark on your quadrants which one sounds more like you. And so that'll make a little bit more sense in just a minute. So, what sounds more like you? So, in most situations, are you generally really calm and rational? You're thinking of the process rather than the outcome, and you really enjoy completing tasks and getting stuff done. So that's one together. Or are you more passionate, or are your passions obvious to those around you just in the way that you talk? Do you get inspired really easily and just like instantly think of what could be? And do you prefer to collaborate and work with others? So whichever one of those situations sounds more like you, you'll either be on the bottom or on the top of the 4 quadrants that you drew for yourself. And then for this next one, so same thing, either side of the scenario. So are you often hesitant to say what's on your mind? Do you really think about who the people are that are involved, and then also have group settings and conversations as your best learning environment? Or are you rarely nervous to talk about your opinion? You want people to hear your big ideas and want everyone to work together for the outcome of your goal. So again, whichever one sounds more like you. So you now have your either top or bottom, and then your right or left. And so you should be able to mark in one of your quadrants which one sounds most like you and which one is most relevant to that context that you chose. And so to learn which leadership style you have, because we can't go into all of them today, if you all can head over either to Instagram or Facebook, whichever one you prefer, you will see the quadrants in a post on our social media. And so the top left will be red, bottom left will be blue, top right is purple, and bottom right is orange. And so whichever one matches up for you, that is your leadership style. And so it'll tell you which one on our social media. And then we would really love if you leave us a comment of which one you are. One of our students actually runs our social media, and so she'll actually also be providing more information about what that means, because we don't want to just tell you which one you have and set you off. So we want you to be able to really learn something with that as well. So if you all can also, just give us a follow on there, you can do that. And then you'll be most up to date with all of our programs, as well as how we're planning on doing them for the fall, and other opportunities around the Eugene and Springfield area. We also put a lot of our just more like random service opportunities on there. So if you're looking for something to do, that's a really great place to look as well. I also want to acknowledge just really quickly with this activity that these leadership styles can really be in flux for you. If you're one, it doesn't mean that that's the one that you are all the time. They can change based on your environment, your mood, your mental health, whatever it may be. But so this is that's why we asked you to pick a specific context. And so you can apply this to other contexts that you have as well. So thank you all for playing along. I hope that you learned something new about yourselves today. And like I said, here is our social media. If you want to follow us, we're at Holden Center. Stay up to date with us. And then we also send out a newsletter about once a term. So it's not like daily or anything, but that also keeps you really up to date with what we have going on. And so you can sign up for that on the homepage of our website, which is holden.uoregon.edu. And I'm so happy to have had the opportunity to share all of these great programs with you all today. I really hope to see some of you either virtually or in real life in the fall. And so last plug that I have is that we also have a blog that some of our students write for. And so if that's something that you're interested in, please get connected with that on our website as well. So I would love to turn it back to Cora to share some of your questions and what you have asked during this session.
Thank you, Hannah. We have had some questions come in and many birthday wishes, particularly River, Sydney, and Kendallin, who wish you happy birthday, but didn't write a question yet. But Lucy says, "Happy birthday! Are all of these services free? If not, how much do these services cost for students?"
Yeah, that's a great question. I apologize for not mentioning that sooner. Let me think. So all of our programs are free. Trying to think too. So all of our programs are free. The majority of our programs, like the Leadership Summit and Leadership, and like we also provide meals there too. So it's not only free, but you're also getting a little something else extra too, which is also great.
Thank you so much. Dimitri wants to know, hold on, let me get to it. Dimitri says, "Happy birthday, Hannah. In your eyes, how would leadership opportunities like these complement a degree in a specific major, such as mine, which is music?"
That's a great question. Thanks for that, Dimitri. So like I said, I think we are space for everyone, and we think that everybody has leadership capacity within them. And so I think, first of all, I would really direct you to one of our consultation or coaching sessions, because I think those are really set up to help you talk about that and figure out where your leadership shows up, because it's probably showing up a lot more than you think it is. And it's also can be really helpful to reframe what that leadership is for you as well. But with music, I can think of so many places. Really, I just want to have a conversation with you to learn more about it and how you think about it. So I would really encourage you to look at one of our programs, but I would say it's absolutely connected.
Thank you. I want to know, I'm going to insert one of my own questions because I can. But one of the things that we've done with many of our faculty members and who have presented faculty perspectives and our presenters who have presented during their interest sessions is talk a little bit about transformative experiences that our students have. Can you share, because I know the Holden Center offers lots of those, and often like students like Dimitri all of a sudden have this aha moment about how a program that they've been involved with has created a transformation in them. Can you talk a little bit about some of the transformations that you've witnessed in the students that you've worked with through the programs or resources that you've offered?
Absolutely. Gosh, let me rifle through and pick in my mind.
The little file cabinet back there.
I know, just kind of go right through. So we actually just had one of our student staff members graduate, and I think he is a fantastic example of the longevity of our programs, but also how he transformed in them. And so he started out as a Duck Corps member and did quite a few Duck Corps teams, led one, and then did some leadership programs that we offer. And then he actually, his last year was one of our staff members, and he coordinated the Duck Corps program with another student, Veronica. And so Justin, just like I said, just graduated, and he just in the last year that I got to supervise him, he just grew tremendously and really I don't even know how to put it into words, but just started questioning everything he was doing and was it good for the community and how could he be better. And he really started questioning as well what it meant for him to be a white male that had all of this privilege, which I think that switch for me is one of my favorite things that I see, because we need everybody to come together to create the just and caring world that we want. And so seeing him do that has been great. And he actually just started a podcast called The Better World Challenge. So just a quick little plug for you, Justin. But I think he's absolutely an example of one of those transformative experiences.
Thank you for that. Can you talk a little bit about how students will, you probably will, it's repeating it because you talked a little bit about the social media that you have. What other ways can students hear about the leadership opportunities, like the Leadership Summit in particular? Do you send out emails, are there newsletters, or do you rely on students connecting in a different way to find out about those?
Yeah, great question. Thanks, Cora. So we all of the things, we try to do all of them. So our social media is always a really good start. Like I said, our students run it, and so it's generally really up to date and also has a pretty good pulse on what you all want from your social media anyway. So that's a great place to start. We have our newsletter, like I said, that can be found on the homepage of our website that you can sign up for. And again, it's really not one of those emails that you're going to get just bombarded by. We really only send it out a couple times a term when we have multiple things that we can tell you about. because we really don't want to overload you with email. So that's also a good one. And then our blog site, which can be found on our website as well, is a really great place to learn about those too. This summer, we've actually had our student staff members interviewing community members to talk to them about how they got to be where they are, and why they are really passionate about the work that they're doing. So that's also a really cool place to engage as well. Outside of that, we also have pretty good connections with faculty members. So sometimes you might hear about our programs when you're in class. So I think that's also a good way for us to also show you that connects to what you're learning in class as well. But yeah, all of the ways, posters, emails, all the things.
Thank you. Yasmin is asking, would it be possible for me to participate in these events even though I won't be on campus?
Absolutely. So I mentioned a couple times throughout talking about our programs that most of them are available online right now, and you can do them anytime. And we generally haven't done programs over the summer because you all aren't here. But this has kind of really made us be more accessible to you all. And a lot of our programs you can do right now. You can sign up for them today if you want, and someone will reach out to you, and you can do a strengths consult, you can do a leadership coaching session. So you absolutely can be doing these things now and while you're remote as well.
Thank you. I also know that you all serve the rest of the campus community, not just students. As a staff member, we've had you all come into our office and actually help our office environment by helping us understand our own strengths and how we as a team can work together. And I think that's been beneficial. Can you talk about some of the other ways that faculty and staff are either involved directly by by participating themselves in your programs, or inviting you all into their spaces to create an environment where they can learn from you as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So our workshop series that I spoke to, we have had quite a few staff teams that have used that for themselves as well. So even just professional staff and no students involved at all. Always learning to do, even as a faculty member. And so faculty and staff can request those as well. It's not just for students. And like Cora mentioned, we've also done some of those group consults. So we do those for staff teams and departments and things like that, because we also want those folks to be working together as best as they can as well. And so if we can help that in any way, we're happy to do that. We also have quite a few faculty members who tap us for very specific things. We've had folks from the leadership minor on campus who we did some research with and for through our strengths program. And so like I said, we're always open to new things, and we thank you for asking that. We really do also hope to help faculty and staff as well as students within the Holden Center programs.
Thank you. Okay, so what are some of your more popular service opportunities that you provide?
Yeah, so one of my favorites actually that is generally pretty popular is the Student Sustainability Center's Produce Drop. And so they're in the EMU as well, and the Student Sustainability Center is, and so they offer food and produce for students who are experiencing food insecurity. Mm-hmm. I believe it's twice a month. And so students can come and get fresh produce. And so we actually have a duck core team that helps out with that program. And so they are the ones that serve the produce and kind of walk students through that. So that's one of my favorite. And then one of our most popular community service projects is Boys and Girls Club. Students just love being able to be around other kids. And so that's always the first duck core team that fills up. And people are always wanting more. So
thank you. Can you tell me how, just hearing you talk a little bit about it, caused me to wonder, how do you all bridge the link between community service and leadership? What's the leadership skills or attributes that are to be learned through community service?
Yeah, so I mentioned this kind of briefly at the beginning, that we believe that leadership is more about how you care for each other and the community that you're able to build with the folks that you're working towards a common goal with. And so I believe that compassion and curiosity are a really big part of how you engage with your community through service and with leadership. And so for our duck core teams in particular, when we have a team lead, they're not the only leaders on that team. everybody can be a leader within that team. And so I think really it comes down to care and compassion and just an interest in learning more about how you can help your community. And I think both community engagement and leadership are so deeply intertwined there that I think sometimes, I talk about it all day, every day, so they don't really seem all that different for me. And hopefully that is something that you kind of come to as well in your time in our programs, that they are so deeply intertwined that they really cannot be separated.
Thank you for that. I think it's important for students to be able to see leadership in themselves, even though they're not maybe the person who would take charge all the time, and that's often a misconception about leadership. And so I think it's important for our students to hear you say that out loud. Another question about involvement in the community engagement part of what you're doing. Why is getting involved in the larger Eugene community important for University of Oregon students?
It's a great question. In case you didn't know, you are in a bubble, but you're not. So you got to get outside the bubble. And so really when you come to campus, there's a city that's already here. There are community members that are already here, and this is their home. And they want it to be your home as well. But you all have to work together to make sure that this is a community that everybody wants to live in. And I think that that's important wherever you live, not just when you leave to go to college in a new town or maybe the same town. But that's that you're holding up that value of community wherever you are. And so I think it's just so important to also recognize, too, that cities are very different. And so it also can be different, too, if Eugene has been your home your whole life and you're now seeing it through the eyes of a college student. It can also be really different that way as well. But there are different social issues that are present here that I think it's really important for folks to know about that, whether it's for their own safety or just to be more engaged in what's going on. But I think being engaged in that way is what we hope folks will do post-grad as well.
Thank you. Okay, this is going to be my last question for you. Is there an application process for some of the leadership events or opportunities, or do you just sign up?
The majority of them, you just sign up and come. And so we generally, I think, I'm trying to run through the programs in my mind. I'm pretty sure that we do have registration for all of them, just so that we can get a pulse on how many folks we might be expecting, and so that we can have food for you all, because we have run out before, and it's not a good problem to have. But so just registration. And then I think the only program that we have like a formal application for is our leadership program. But we don't generally turn people away. So yeah, good question, but I'll just signing up.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Hannah. That is all the time that we have this afternoon for this. If you are a student who's watching, we want you to stay on track with your introduction requirements. So please go to community.uoregon.edu to submit your reflection on this session and tell us what you've learned. It's important that you do that. Other ways that you can stay on track to be ready for fall term include submitting your selfie for your photo ID, uploading your immunization records to complete your health records requirement for the Health Center, and for you to submit your official final high school transcript to the Office of Admissions. Those are all important steps to take. For questions about this or any other introduction program, please visit our website at orientation.uoregon.edu. You can email us your questions at orientation@uoregon.edu, or you can text us at 541-346-1159. Like Justin, who Hannah mentioned, we also have a podcast, and I encourage you to subscribe to it. You can do so at any of your favorite podcast platforms. It's called Flock Talk, or you can listen from your computer at flocktalk.uoregon.edu. Thank you to you who are watching us live. Thank you for your time today. And to you, Hannah, thank you so much for helping our new ducks get ready for fall.
Yeah, thank you, Cora.